Okay, welcome to lesson 2 in chapter 9, so 9.2. And this chapter is about ordered pairs. So we're going to be using something called a coordinate plane. Now, a little bit about the coordinate plane is, let me zoom in here for you. It's basically a number line going horizontally and another number line going vertically up and down, and the two number lines meet at 0. So this number line going up and down, it goes from +1, 0, down to -1. And then this number line, it has +1 on this side, 0, and -1 on this side, and it keeps going into the negatives or up to the positives. But this point where the two lines intersect, that's called the origin. And the origin is just the zeros, okay? It's 0, 0 is what we call it. And then, these two number lines have names also. We call this horizontal one the x-axis or the x line. And then we call this vertical one the y-axis. Okay, so these names are very important because these are going to help us in this lesson as well. So we have the x-axis and the y-axis, and this is the coordinate plane. So this is the whole coordinate plane. Okay, the coordinate plane has 4 sections or 4 quadrants. And when you get into higher grades, you're going to start using all 4 of those. But in 5th grade, we really only focus on this top right quadrant. It's called quadrant 1, and it's where all the positive numbers are. So if you look at the x-axis for quadrant 1, the x-axis is positive, and if you look at the y-axis for quadrant 1, it's also the positive numbers. So if I took this quadrant right here and I just kind of blew it up and I made it bigger, that's what I have right here. So this is quadrant 1 of the coordinate plane, just kind of bigger for us so we can see it. So right here at 0, or 0, 0 actually, because it's the 0 for the x-axis and it's also the 0 for the y-axis, the origin. We have the right angle where the two lines meet. And then going along the x-axis, the horizontal line, we have all the positives. Okay, we don't need the negatives anymore because we're not going to work on those negatives. We're only going to work on the quadrant 1. And then going up from the origin, we have positive numbers going up bigger and bigger on our y-axis. Okay, so when we talk about the coordinate plane in 5th grade, we're pretty much just going to focus on quadrant 1. Okay, and the coordinate plane, it's used for a lot of different kinds of graphs. Sometimes even down here on the x-axis, you won't see numbers for some graphs. You'll see categories, right? But you'll have number lines going up on the y-axis. And we use this for something called ordered pairs. So ordered pairs is, again, our lesson title. So we're going to talk about those today. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, so an ordered pair is kind of like an address. It's a location for points inside our coordinate plane. Okay, so when we want to plot a point or we want to plot some data, we use an ordered pair to describe its location. The ordered pair it's called a pair because there's 2 numbers involved. One number, the first number always written, is the x-coordinate, and that's the one that is describing where it is on the x-axis. And then the other number that we have in our ordered pair is the y-coordinate, and that's the number that's going to describe where it is according to our y-axis. And remember, the axis or the axes are these lines. So this is the x-axis. I'm even going to mark it for you. X-axis. Okay, and the vertical one is our y-axis. Okay, and it's in alphabetical order even. So when you do your ABCs, it goes X, Y, Z at the end, right? So X is always first. You got to remember X is first, and X is our horizontal line. Okay, so what I mean by the ordered pair is kind of like an address is I have 2 points here. Okay, we have point A and point B. And both of these are in quadrant 1. They are in our coordinate plane. And I can describe where these points are by using an ordered pair. So let's start with point A. I have A over here with a blank line because I need to put the the address or the location of point A. And remember, it's always in parentheses, and it's going to be a pair of numbers with a comma in between. And the first number is the x-axis or the x-coordinate. So starting with A, I'm going to look down, and I'm just going to do a dotted line. You don't have to do dotted lines. You could just look straight down, okay? If I look straight down, I'm above the number 1 on the x-axis. So my x-coordinate is going to be 1, okay? My y-coordinate is going to be where it is compared to the y-axis. So I'm going to look over to the left and see where this is, and it looks like it's at about number 4. So on the y-axis or the y-coordinate, our number is 4. So my answer, or my ordered pair for point A, is parenthesis 1 comma 4 parenthesis, or we just say 1 comma 4 or 1 4. All right. Okay, for B, we have, if we look at the x-coordinate first, at the x-axis first, our first coordinate going down, so we always look at the x first, is 5. So our first coordinate is 5, comma. And then we look over at the y-axis second. And so if I go straight across, I'm at about 3 over there. So if I go straight across, there's 3. So 5 comma 3 is our ordered pair for point B. All right, now we're going to do a little something different. This one, they gave me the ordered pair, and I need to plot my point. Okay, so to plot the points, you've got to make sure that you do the x-coordinate first, followed by the y-coordinate, because it's always written in x, y. Okay, so 3 is going to be my x-coordinate, and 0 is going to be my y-coordinate. 0 means it's not going to go up anything. It's just going to be like on that 0 line, because remember, 0, 0 is our origin, and that means like right here on the line is 0. So I'm going to show you how to plot that right now. And this is what I always remember. To make sure I do my x-coordinate first, I have to move over, then up. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So to plot 3, 0, I'm going to start at my origin, and I'm going to move over 3. 1, 2, 3. And that means I'll be right at 3 for my x-axis, which 3 is my first term, 3, 0, right? So move over first and then move up. Well, for point C, it wants me to go 0 up. So that actually means I'm not going to go up at all. I'm going to plot my point right here on the x-axis. It's going to sit right there, 0 units up, okay? But if I check, am I on the 3 for x? Yes. If I look down, there's 3 on the x-axis. Am I on 0 for y? If I look over, yep, I'm right at 0. Okay, so this point right here is 3, 0, and we label it C, so we know which point I'm talking about. All right, so if you remember, move over, then up. That helps you plot the points. Okay, so let's plot point D. This one, the ordered pair is 2, 2. So the x-coordinate is 2 and the y-coordinate is 2. And so we're going to start at the origin, start at 0, and we're going to move over, then up. So we're going to move over 2, that's my x-coordinate, 2, and then I'm going to move up 2, 1, 2, and my dot goes right there. So I went over 2 and then up 2, right? Now, usually we wouldn't draw these lines. We also wouldn't have these dotted lines all over the place. It would just be some dots in the middle. But I'm kind of trying to show you the jumps that I'm taking or the movement that I'm making. And I can always double check my work. So x should be under my x-axis, my dot should be above the 2. So if I look down, yep, it's right above the 2. And my y-axis should be the 2. So I look over at my y-axis and there's 2. So I'm good. So there's points A, B, C, and D on my coordinate plane using ordered pairs. Okay, we've got a few more to practice, just some more practice. So we've got a much bigger quadrant 1 here. On my x-axis, I'm going all the way up to 14. On my y-axis, I'm going all the way up to 12. Now, these axes are infinite, so they can go up to high numbers, to the numbers that you need them to. So they can be much bigger than this even, but I figured we'd try this one first and see how we do. Okay, so first I want to find the address, or I want to find the ordered pair for these points. My first one is point A. So first I've got to find A. A is over here. Okay, A is on the axis, so that means one of my numbers is going to be 0, right? Remember, the ordered pair always goes X first, then Y. So we got to look down at the X-axis first. So from point A, I'm going to look down to my X-axis, and I am right above, or I'm right on the 0. So my X coordinate for A will be 0, comma. All right, and then my Y coordinate is next. And for A, I'm going to just look over to the Y axis, and I am right next to the 7. And so my address, or my ordered pair, is 0, 7 for point A. All right. Point B is next. So I got to find point B first, and here it is. And I've got to find my X coordinate first. So I look down, and there's a 3. Okay, so my X coordinate is 3. That means it's above the 3 on the X-axis. And then my Y coordinate for point B, I'm going to look over from B, and I've got 1. So I'm going to put 1 for my Y coordinate. 3, 1 is my ordered pair. I'm above the 3, and I am to the right of 1. Okay, C, I've got to find C. Here it is. First, we look down at the X coordinate, and we got 6. Okay, and then we look over for the Y coordinate, and we've got 3. So my ordered pair is 6, 3 for point C. All right, another one, point D. Point D is right here. Okay, I'm going to look down first and see what is my X coordinate. So my X coordinate is right there. It's 12. So 12 is my X coordinate. And then my Y coordinate, it's on the line. It's on the X-axis. So if I look way across over here, for the Y coordinate, I'm at 0, right? So 12, 0 is my ordered pair for point D. And my last one that I need to do myself is point E. Let's see, this one's, I gotta try to be as straight as I can. It looks like it's gonna be on 7. So straight down, I got 7 for my X coordinates, and then straight across, I got 8, 7, 8. Okie doke. All right, the next ones, they gave me the address, and I have to plot them myself. And remember, we use move over, then up. So for point F, we need to move over 2, then up 11. So over 2, up 11. So starting at 0, we go over 2, 1, 2, and then up 11. Oh my goodness. So from the 2, I got to go all the way up, up to here. I'm kind of double checking. Am I above the 2? It looks like it. And so I'm just going to make a big old dot right there. Above the 2 and across from the 11, and this was point F, so I label it F. Okay. I need to plot G. G is 0, 3, so I need to move over 0 and then up 3. So when I move over, I'm really not going to move over at all. I'm going to stay right there at 0, and then I'm going to go up 3. So starting at, we always start at the origin, right? So over 0, that means I'm not going to move over at all, staying right here. And then up 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be right here on the axis. Make it nice and big so we can see it. And then I'm going to label it G. All right. We got 2 more. H, point H is move over 4 and up 5. Ooh, look at H and I. They're very similar. We got a 4 and a 5 for H, and then we got 5 and 4 for I. These are 2 very different locations, though, because this is our X-axis, and our X-axes are different. And this is our Y coordinate, our Y coordinate, and they are different. So let's see how these compare to each other. So H is 4, 5. We're going to go over 4, up 5. Starting at 0, over 4, and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a big old dot right there. And this is H, right? And then let's look at I, because remember, we're trying to compare these two because they look similar, but they are different. For I, we're going to move over 5, up 4. So it is different. This one was over 4, up 5. We're going to do over 5, up 4. So starting at 0, over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I is going to be right here. All right, so there's H and I. They are not in the same spot. They both had 4 and 5 as coordinates, but because they were in different spots, 4 was X and 5 was Y for H. 5 is X and 4 is Y for I. So they are different plot points, or they're different locations. All right, so there is ordered pairs. Go ahead and give yourself some practice by doing the practice form and have fun. All right, bye-bye.